Hello everybody, my name is Sniping is Fun, and I welcome you all back to the official 17th character on this list of characters about various Smash Bros. 5, Smash Bros. Switch, Newcomer, potential ideas, speculation, predictions, blah blah blah. We've talked about numerous characters so far, ranging from Springman and Rex to a Fire Emblem 16 character, and Bomberman, and most recently just Sylux, which was the last character I just talked about. This character we're talking about now is diving into the realm of Kirby with Bandana D, Bandana Waddle D, whatever the heck you want to call him, and his chances on being a potential newcomer for Smash Bros. 5. Just like always, I talk about... Let me fix this. I think I just slid it down a little bit. And talk about his chances for Smash Bros. 5. The three separate categories I talked about for all these videos, just like always, is the reason for why I think they make sense to be in Smash Bros., moveset potential ideas, like rough ideas, and percentage chance for me thinking they could actually get in Smash Bros. So let's get started talking about this Fluffball Waddle Dee thing from the Kirby series and why everyone wants to practically see him in. Everyone and their mother, just like Ridley and Waluigi and King K. Rool, want to see Bandana D practically in the series. So let's dive into the reasons for why I think Bandana Waddle Dee actually makes sense. First and foremost, he's probably been in the series as long as almost a lot of the main cast. He's been in almost as long, if about as long as like Meta Knight has been in, pretty much. He has been around for a long time. He's been in the series since Kirby Superstar on the Super Nintendo. Like, they've always included in various games since Kirby Superstar various forms of Bandana Waddle Dee, which is like usually either, if not a side character to Kirby in his games, he is a playable character, and he's always like that fourth major character you see in practically any Kirby game that you play playable. It's Kirby, King Dedede, Meta Knight, and that fourth character is normally always Bandana Waddle Dee. So he is so relevant to the series. He's such a major character in the series. He is like player number 4, like all the time, like in Kirby Return to Dreamland on the Wii, Kirby Star Allies on the Switch. Various games that allow you to play multiplayer Kirby usually allow him to be a playable character, or if not a playable character, he's almost always a side character, someone you could see in the game, in the stories at some point for most of the game. Not every single one, but he's super relevant to the series. He is practically in almost every single game now since Kirby Superstar on the Super Nintendo. And like I said, those are the two reasons for why I feel he makes sense to be in this series. He is a long-standing, long legacy character for the Kirby series. He's not been around since the NES days, since the original on the NES. No, original was on the Game Boy. Original on the Game Boy and Kirby Adventures on the the NES and whatnot. He hasn't been around since the beginning, but he's so close to it on the Super Nintendo. He's been around since practically the beginning, since almost as long as like Meta Knight and King Dedede and Kirby and whatnot. He is a long-standing character in the series. He's a legacy character, and he's always seems to be playable nowadays. He's almost always playable nowadays, pretty much in like all these games like Star Allies, Return to Dreamland and whatnot. He's super relevant to the series. And if there is to be another Kirby character, there's pretty much likely it's probably going to be him, because he's like the next front-running character if they ever get another character, is Bandana D, Bandana Waddle Dee. Now, as for moveset potential, I think his legacy speaks for itself mostly, because I really don't see him having too much of an interesting moveset. And that's mostly because I never really played as him. I never really seen too much of what he can do. You could probably throw some Kirby stuff on him too. But like, he uses a spear, which we haven't seen in all yet. So moveset potential, we're on this second category now. I'm sorry I didn't do that. Mention it really there. Specify. For smash attacks, he said he wields a spear, so a lot of his smash attacks, we don't have a spear user yet, would be jabs with a spear, slashes with a spear. Take any move he can basically do, like in like a Star Allies and Return to Dreamland, and just give it to him here. Basically, just have that be his smash attacks. He pokes you with it, he jabs you with it, he slashes it, and yada. That should be his smash attacks. And I know, like I basically always said, the smash attacks are probably the most boring thing that you probably can think of, the most basic, bland thing, because the special attacks are usually what make the character the most interesting thing. There are some characters you can get away with giving them really interesting smash attacks, but the smash attacks are usually the more boring of the options. Special attacks are where you really can get to the meat and potatoes of some character's moveset. But like I said, his smash attack should basically be just standard swipes with a spear. We don't have a spear user yet, so anything basic would at least be different than any other fighting style, weapon style we've basically seen so far in Smash Brothers. Special attacks, I'd basically give him like the little things he does in the games too. He can throw his spear, so not only is he an up close melee based spear user, he can throw his spear like a javelin, and he has a long range attack, and maybe that can be chargeable, where you can, if you just tap it, it goes a short distance, but if you hold it and charge it, you might be able to throw it at least a decent distance, and kind of strategize how far the enemy is away from you. He can use a spear copter, so he can go up and he's just like spear. So if an opponent's above him, he could jump up and twirl his spear around as a helicopter and hit them in the air. That might also be his recover move too. So obviously, if you are about to fall off the stage, spear copter up, fall onto the stage. He does use a parasol as well as the spear, so maybe some of his special attacks can be him bringing out a parasol to defend himself, to swing it around and attack the opponent, stuff like that. And I would give him also the Megaton Punch, which was from, I think it's Superstars, but I think they've done it numerous times too. Like, those little like those mini game type things you do where you have to crack the ground. Give him the Megaton Punch, have him smash his little stubby little arm into the ground, and it cracks the ground. And if there's an opponent around him, it's just like a ground shaker, like, and maybe it creates a little explosion, and you could hit your opponent if they're near you. I don't know. Maybe it could be chargeable too. I don't know. But like I said, I've never really played as him per se, so I don't know exactly what he can and cannot do. All I know is basically the spear. And that's basically what I would do for the special attacks. It's not really all that interesting. Like, I think he's riding on a lot is his legacy to the series. I don't think his moveset would be all that original, which might hurt him a little bit. But I think Sakurai could probably find something more interesting than what I specified. But like I said, the smash attacks would just be standard swiping, jabbing with the spear. And the special attacks are throwing the spear, using a parasol, probably for a few like left B, down B type stuff. Maybe pulling out a parasol and just defending himself and smacking people with a parasol. Using the Megaton Punch to hit the ground, which probably would be his down B, I think. And anyone that's around him gets hit with a little like cracking ground shock. And basically just the propeller, which would be like his up B, where you can hit people in the air or you can recover onto the stage. It's kind of basic, but it's like his moveset centers mostly around doing what Kirby does, but with a spear, and no swallowing abilities, no special abilities as far as I remember. I don't recall him ever being able to do what Kirby does. So maybe some of the Kirby's attacks that don't revolve around him sucking in people's abilities, give some of Kirby's abilities to Waddle Dee, Bandana Waddle Dee, and then make that like a side thing. Will make his main focus be around his spear, throwing it, swiping with it, using a parasol and Megaton Punch. That's basically what I would say. As for Final Smash, the only thing I think would be kind of interesting, and I think it'd be kind of cool to do this isn't like a major idea, because I think you could do so much better than this, but I was thinking about this idea actually, and have him, because he is like one of the major allies to Kirby. He is a major ally. He's always like one of those side allies Kirby always does. How about because the Waddle Dees used to be a summon to storm the stage from King Dedede and Brawl. How about he does his own summon, but instead of summoning like Waddle Dees or basic generic enemies, he summons Kirby's allies. You can have him even like make a reference to Star Allies and have him support like the DLC characters you can get. You can summon from the various like old Dreamland games on the Game Boy and whatnot on Super Nintendo. You can summon Ku and Kine, Rick, Marks and Gooey. Have him summon various allies. He's like, we're all allies of Kirby. Come down and help me beat these opponents. And they come down, and you could either make it a cutscene based thing like Shulk and Mega Man, and they just do the storm attack if you catch someone in like a special, if you catch whoever you catch with your swipe of your spear when you do the Final Smash. Or you can make it where they come down and it's just they all just storm the stage and they're just generic little people running around, Marks doing this and Gooey doing that and Rick doing this, and they're all just attacking opponents and doing something, or helping you move around the stage or something, defending you probably. I don't know. Something like that would be kind of cool. So I think it'd be kind of cool because he is one of the major allies to Kirby outside of King Dedede, who's now like a neutral character, antagonist type of thing. And then Meta Knight the same way. He's like the main side ally. Have him summon the side allies and just wreak havoc. There you go. But yeah, that's my thought process on why I think he should make it in. He's a legacy character, and he's been in practically every game since Kirby Superstar, and he's like the fourth major character whenever there's a multiplayer Kirby game, basically. His moveset would center around the spear, throwing it like a javelin, using the helicopter spear thing, Megaton Punch, whatnot, summoning his allies, and that's about it for like why he should be in, and moveset potential. Now the third category is on his percentage chance, and like I said, I think he is like the likely next character we're going to get from Kirby. If there is to be another character from Kirby, it should be him. I know a lot of people probably would also say like Marks or Knuckle Joe and stuff like that. And I can understand why people want characters like those. I just think their chances are less. I really think he is the next obvious choice because they utilize him a lot more. He is a lot more relevant to the series as a whole because he's always like that fourth main character you could play as in a multiplayer Kirby game. And he's been around since Superstar, so he's very, very big. But that doesn't guarantee him in there. He's no 90 to 100% range. I'm giving Bandana Wallaby an 80%, which is a pretty good chance. It's a pretty good chance. I just think it's riding on, like, he's a guaranteed choice, but it's like, is it guaranteed we're going to get another Kirby Newcomer or not? Not really. They deserve one, and if it is, it should be him, but it's like, is Kirby going to get another Newcomer, or is Sakurai going to focus on other franchise and not play favorites with his own series and whatnot? I don't know, but like 80% is there because he's super legacy character. He's in a lot of the games. But at the same time, does Kirby really need another character? Is he really should be in? Will they go for another franchise? Stuff like that. That's basically what I'm thinking. It was like, what is Sakurai thinking? And it's not like no guarantee he's just going to put this character in there because he's major to the series. That gives him a high percent chance. 80% is still very, very freaking good. He's only outranked on my list by characters like Shovel Knight, a Fire Emblem 16 character, Springman, Bomberman to some extent, Rex, stuff like that. He's over characters like Ridley, Waluigi, Silex, and whatnot. So he's in the middle ground almost on my list as far as every percentage of characters I talked about so far. So it's good, but it's not the greatest. He's not a guarantee, but he has a pretty high chance. And I think that's good enough for Bandana Wallaby. So there you go. And that is it for this series right here, for this entry here on number 17 character Newcomer. And Bandana Wallaby. Put in the comments section what you guys think. Do you guys like Bandana Wallaby? What reasons do you think he makes sense to be in? What do you think about my reasons, my moveset potential ideas? What moveset would you give him? Do you like the Final Smash idea about me giving him the allies like Gooey and Marks and Rick and whatnot? And what percentage chance would you think it is? And do you think it's 80% is a good reason to give him? I don't know. Put in the comments section below. We can discuss it there. Have some fun. Smash Brothers 5 coming out soon. And that is it for Bandana D. Now we're going on to the 18th character, and I'm going to dive back into the realm. That's not so long after I talk about the last character, back into the realm of ARMS with one more character. I just recently talked about, like a few videos ago, Springman, but this character has a chance too, and I want to talk about her chances of being in Smash Brothers 5 as well. My name is Tempest Fun. Peace. Please subscribe if you want to. Have a lovely day. Put in the comments section what you guys think about Bandana Wallaby, and stay tuned for character number 18. No, 18. I messed it up.